What can you say about some people saying like, oh, Filipina are made because we cook for our husband?
Oh yeah, like I don't need a man, but for me, I was like, it's your role for this family. Always like, you know, respect.
She was the first girl that what she presented herself to me was how she really was.
You should really get to know your woman better,
like for
deeper,
real.
for
you
real.
know? You really gotta look more than looks. That's all it comes to. Because
Sure
you'll fall in love with every 5 minutes.
How did you know you have a cancer?
Well, I had just got through like a real intensive training. The early part of a training for people that are going into naval aviation. And you have a Marine Corps drill instructor. If you ever saw the movie Officer and a Gentleman.
Ma'am, I want your DOR.
I don't know, that's kind of older movie with Richard Gere.
No, sir. You can kick me out of here, but I ain't quitting.
I made her watch it, but because it's really kind of, and Louis Gossett. It was an Academy Award winner.
Yeah.
You go through this training phase, and right after when I was getting out and I went into primary flight training, that was also very intensive. But the early one, Aviation Office Canada School, was very physical. There's a lot of classes, but really physical.
Yeah.
So, you know, I thought I had hurt my back doing something. And it just started out as kind of back pain. And when I started primary flight school in the Navy, you know, these really weird things were happening, but they were not really coming up with a complete diagnosis. I was 28.
Wow.
Yeah, I was 28.
Long ago.
20. Well, I went in, my training started, I think I was around 26. And that kind of started going down at 28. And, you know, the pain was getting worse. You know, I couldn't fly anymore because, you know, when you're on medication, they won't let you fly. It was affecting the classes. We had 8-hour classes. I was failing classes. And, you know, I had to keep going to review boards and explain to them why, you know. But they would ask me questions and I could explain everything. It just wasn't coming on the test. And so they let me stay in. And then it just got so bad that I couldn't really move. And it was one November, it was Thanksgiving, and we had leave, and I couldn't go anywhere. And my best friends were like, man, you want us to stay? And I'm like, no, y'all go home with your family. I was laying on the floor in my barrack, and a friend of mine, I'm an Alpha, she was an AKA, and she brought me Thanksgiving dinner. I ate that on the floor. And I fell asleep that night. I had a little, I don't know, some kind of heater because I was in so much pain I couldn't move. And I fell asleep on it and it burned.
Ooh.
And I was like, the next day I was like, I called the ambulance and they just came in, the clinic, and they came and got me. Wow. And then I went through all the tests and then that's when they told me. Chemotherapy was 6 months and the radiation was, because I couldn't move in anything, because I had tumors cutting into my nervous system and my spine, and so that was very intensive treatments. So actually, I have tattoos on my back so they can align the machine right to the right point every time, and they line it up. Yeah, and my back is the skin is eaten down, and this muscle won't grow anymore. Yeah. So it's a lot of back problems. So I'm actually 3 inches shorter than I was. You know, because of the radiation treatment.
Because of that?
Yeah. Kind of turnaround was, let's just wait and see. They punctured my lung. I mean, I went through all kinds of stuff. I almost died because of that. Because my lung was wrapping around my heart. And, you know, it was having trouble beating correctly. And that was found by mistake, you know, before they were discharging me. And so that was the worst pain in the world, man.
Yeah.
That was like getting stabbed when they put the lung tube in. But so I got to the point where they discharged me. They were like, wasn't sure I was gonna live, and I did outpatient for like maybe 3 months. Twice a month I had to go back to the Air Force Base and get treatment. You know, the chemotherapy treatment, and that was a whole other nightmare. They almost killed me with that. You know, they almost double shot me with this radiation stuff that would have killed me. And, I mean, they had that syringe. They put that catheter in my shoulder, and that's how they punctured my lung.
Ooh.
And they were about to, and that's how they would shoot. They ran into your artery in your heart because those drugs are so intense. The first one they did it in my arm because it was like emergency. We need to get this treatment started before they put the catheter in. And for about 2 or 3 years, it looked like I had a number 2 pencil under my vein had hardened that hard.
Wow.
And it stayed like that for about 5 years.
Wow.
And they scraped my lung when they put it in. And my lung was slow leaking, you know.
Oh, wow.
So when they came in and put that lung tube in, they don't deaden you and nothing, man. They had like 4 people on me. I was 113 pounds. And they still had to have 4 people to hold me down to put that tube in my side. And I didn't know pain till that. I didn't know pain. I mean, I had all kinds.
He's got like high tolerance in him.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, I still do. Because I probably be in pain all day, but I just don't notice it.
Yeah.
So that's before you guys met, right?
Oh, yeah. She was...
Maybe I was...
I wasn't born yet.
5 years old.
Yeah. She was born in 88, you know. And I was diagnosed in 1990, so
okay.
I was in the
I was 2.
Yeah, that's a damn shame. Changed my whole concept of life, man.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like small, you know, just
Trivial
I don't like
things.
the stress, man. And you appreciate small things and things that bother people. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, you know,
It's like,
it's not that serious.
I don't want that problem.
You gotta love today and tomorrow, right?
Yeah, you do, man.
Tomorrow comes, it's a blessing.
And anytime, you know, because, you know, living in the Philippines can be stressful.
Yeah, it can be.
And especially when we were locked down.
Yeah.
And, you know, I found, and then our air conditioner was broken in our car. So anytime we would ride, that heat would get to me, man.
I gotta say something real quick. That lockdown in the Philippines, if anybody was here, especially in Manila, right? Manila was the worst.
Yeah, Manila was real bad.
Yeah.
Hey, Iloilo was the Wakanda of the Philippines.
Yeah.
But that was a big test in a
It was.
relationship because there was no other woman in my life I could be locked in the house for a year and a half
And we
not.
heard a lot of Americans
Yeah.
fighting.
Yeah, they were getting divorced like crazy after that.
Yeah.
I lost about 35 pounds, man.
Wow.
I've been on it, you know, all of 2022. So I'm just starting to.
So you guys
He
gained
gained,
weight?
yeah, both of us.
Yeah.
We were just eating ice cream.
Well, I was buying from S&R candy,
We were
ice
just,
cream,
you know,
chips.
just eating and watching Netflix.
Yeah, but
Same
you
thing,
were working. She was working though.
Yeah,
But
I
I was
started
the one
working.
laying in bed all day.
Jay and I is like, we need to go. It's like we always want to go to the store because that's the only
Nothing else to do.
out.
Yeah.
That was the highlight of the day.
What can you say about some people saying like, oh, Filipina are made because we cook for our husband?
About you that you have to take the time to get a passport to like go somewhere else to meet people that like you. If only I had been more traditional. If only I had been more subservient. If only I would have acted more like a housekeeper.
Watch the vlogs because I'm working, but
But
every
sometimes
time-
you sit next to
yeah, I
me
sit
when
next to
I
him.
was watching
But
Jim.
there are times when I'm like doing something, like doing my skincare and like hearing the stuff that he watches on YouTube. What are these women saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, like their hate on the bros and their hate on the Filipinas. Well, for me, you know, I think it's a cultural thing, and I think it's a woman's duty to, you know, love your husband, you know, love your guy, and it's a cultural thing. You know, we are brought up to be loving.
It's not like an insult to clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know,
I just-
and really, I cook most of my own meals because I'm on a kind of like a bodybuilder diet, you know, really. So I steam my chicken, you know, but I guess my housekeeper and stuff will do a lot of other stuff, but I do my chicken.
Yeah, but-
And so
but
I really don't even ask you to cook.
Yeah, and I heard that last night. In
Yeah,
your
that was,
vlog.
Yeah.
About the woman saying that you know, she's not your mother, but I mean for me, like, don't you love when your mother cooks for you and
Yes.
takes care of you?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
That's
So
what
I
they
was
got
like,
twisted.
Yeah.
That they see that as, I'm not your mom, but no, you know, you're my wife, but you know, and when we had the business and she was overwhelmed because she was doing everything in the business, and I was like, look, let's hire.
Your wife's supposed to be everything.
Yeah,
Your
well,
mother, your girlfriend,
your
everything.
partner,
Your partner, your friend.
And I said,
Yes.
let's just
Your best
hire,
friend.
Yeah.
let's hire a housekeeper, you know, because we come home at 11:30 and you know midnight sometimes, and she's washing dishes and washing clothes, and I'm like, we can afford a housekeeper. Let's, you know, and then we ended up having two.
But
for
I
a
really
while.
think that you know, women should be like nurturers. I think
Yes.
that's our part. You know, we taking care of the kids. You know, I think you nurture that. You're the biggest part of a kid's life. Like I'm not really into what these women are saying about Filipinas. You know, like,
I asked her this the other day. I said, how do you feel when you hear that? And she said, you know, the can't speak English, you know, uncultured,
Only want
poor,
them,
you know, all they want your money. And she just said, you know, they're not talking about me. I don't, it doesn't even phase
you
her
know,
really. But
to be fair, there are Filipinas who act like really bad with foreign guys. Like they, you know, we know some.
we know.
We're not
it is?
gonna name names.
The small percentage of women make it bad on the majority.
Yes.
Because out there, say if, you know, 0.003% of Filipinas are doing it, that's maybe what? It's so many women in the Philippines, maybe 6,000 people. So if all 6,000 people are doing it on dating sites, it feels like Filipinas are scammers, but it's so few.
Facts.
It's
Filipinas
like
that do
also
that.
when you do a lot of stuff good and then you make one mistake.
Yes.
That's
Then
all
you
they
look at the
see.
one mistake.
Yes.
But you know, some of those guys walk into it.
They do.
And then they
They do.
cry about, well, she scammed me, you know.
And I
Yeah.
think
It's like-
one of the things that you should, if you're a foreigner, like, you should really get to know your woman better,
Like for
deeper,
real.
for
you
real.
know? Not just, oh, she looks good.
Yeah.
It's like always
Physical.
cute, sweet.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
it's more than, you know, the physical. I understand that men are visual, so at first, of course, you're gonna be like starstruck and all, but it's not all looks.
But when she
Yeah.
picked me up at the airport, you were just like normal. I was like, she didn't even put makeup on or
Yeah,
anything.
I was like on shorts.
Yeah.
Hello.
She was just like, I was like, whoa, okay. You know.
Some
But she was
Filipino
real.
wearing like
But when she dressed up, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Don't believe everything that all these women are telling you on social media and all. And, you know, come and experience it yourself.
Well, it's
I would
about,
say.
you really gotta look more than looks. That's all it
Yeah.
comes to. Because
Sure do.
you'll fall in love with every 5 minutes, and not necessarily for the right woman for you.
Because it's so many pretty women in the Philippines. Like you
Yeah,
come
it's
to the
ridiculous.
Philippines.
I'm
and-
glad I came here focused on one because I would
Yeah.
probably lost my mind too. You know?
Exactly.
Because
Really?
there are vloggers who would say, don't come and just be on one girl. You know,
Yeah.
They
you
say
gotta
don't do
meet-
that.
Yeah,
They
say
want-
don't do that. Like, you gotta meet all of these girls.
Nah, you
But
don't.
it's a different thing on us, and I think on both
Yeah,
of
yeah,
you,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I make sure he's blind when he first. Joking. Don't look anywhere. Joking.
Yeah, you know,
But it's
I just knew what I want.
Yeah.
You know, when I got here.
Because,
So.
you know, sometimes the person you would meet is not really the one for you, so,
Yeah.
you know.
But you know what it was, Jay, too? She was the first girl that what she presented herself to me was how she really was.
Yes, same
You
thing.
know, and then, you know, because I kept waiting for the shoe to drop, man. I was like, all right. It's
Me too.
Looking around the
The
corner.
mask, take the
All right,
mask
you know. You know, and I'm like, damn, this girl.
The 7 years is still
You
the
know,
mask is still
and-
on.
And then, you know, I was telling Jay, she just got better, but I really,
Yeah.
you know, I was real like, okay, nah, man, this never happened before.
It's like you just waiting.
Yeah, I'm waiting because I had those marriages before where,
Yeah.
you know, and then, you know,
After 2 years.
not after 2 years, after 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know.
Things
Two
change.
colors, two colors.
Yeah.
Some women would do that, like they play the role of
And we know
everything
somebody
that
that
she
happened
want.
to,
Yeah,
you know,
someone.
but you
she
know.
played like all the right cards. She did all the right things.
You want to
And
pull
then
a bar, girl,
when
that's
he
what you might
married,
get.
Yeah.
He married
That's what you
her.
might-
It's like the same. The next day is like totally different.
Wow.
Like,
So did y'all not scold her, but did you get on her?
Well, she wasn't really a friend of ours.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah, we had just kind of met them.
Oh,
Just
okay.
a couple. we
yeah,
met.
it's like like we're in the same community.
Like, what are the characteristics that you like about him? Like, what make you fall in love with? Because earlier we asked him,
so
and now
he, number one, I felt that he really wants to like take care of me. That's one thing. Because women wants to be, feeling that way, and he made me feel that I'm secured and cared for, something like that. Something I want a man for. Because again, I was telling you earlier, I don't want like somebody who's the same as my age, because I'm like mature than my age.
Yes.
And I don't like men that I'm the one leading the relationship.
Yes,
He
yes.
has always been. He's so disciplined and he's so loving. And he's so calm.
sana all,
but
sana all.
I don't think I'm like a super affectionate guy.
No, he's
but,
not.
but I have genuine love
Yeah,
through my actions.
But-
You know.
That's the thing, though,
Yeah.
because I'm not super affectionate either.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm very stern. And women like that.
Yeah, she
Women
likes
like that.
it.
Yeah, women like
she
it.
even told me that.
Yeah.
She said,
I want you to be the strong and
Yes.
leader.
Yeah.
And I always tell him, you gotta be the leader of the family.
Yes.
You have to be the head of the family.
But it's not like you got to tell me to do it because I'm doing it. But
Yeah.
but she reaffirms that.
Yeah.
That.
I said, men, I know that men want to take care of their women.
Yes.
Yeah, right?
Naturally.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So let them do that. Don't like what do you call it?
Emasculate.
Emasculate, yeah.
You want to be
Yeah.
like, I'm this, I can buy
Yep,
this for myself. Just like women in the U.S.
Yep.
Like, I don't need a man, but for me, I was like, it's your role for this family. Even though I'm making my own money, I would always like, respect and love him.
And it's funny because Filipinos don't just do that for foreigners; they do it for their men too.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what they always think.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
You
they're
get that
cleaning
wrong.
and cooking. That's what
They
y'all
do it
are.
for their
No,
men.
They do it for everybody.
Yep.
They do it for their men. It's part of their culture.
Yep,
It's
yep.
amazing.
Yep.
And it's not just that's all
We
we're
were
coming
brought
here
up-
for.
Yeah.
Because I can, I've lived in my house by myself. I can cook and clean.
Me too.
I can
Same thing.
vacuum, I can, wash my clothes. I don't need a woman to do that.
You lived
Exactly.
for a long time before you met
So
that
I didn't
person.
come here because I need somebody to wash my underwear.
Exactly.
I could do that. So,
And we love doing it actually. It's
Yeah.
like some women would say, foreign women would say that, oh, she's just doing that because she needs your money and all of that. But he actually,
And also, you feel good when you're washing your husband's clothes, when you're
Yeah.
I'm
ironing.
gonna tell you what did it for me.
Yeah.
When I knew I had the right woman.
Okay. Okay.
When I came here, we moved in the Malolos. We rented a house to
Yeah.
get to know each
just
other.
right outside Manila, Malolo.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And she was getting ready. She was training with her uncle. Has a band.
Yeah.
And they were gonna go.
I'm a singer.
Yeah, she's a vocalist, real good singer.
Yeah.
And she was going to Diego Garcia
Uh huh.
to spend like 6 months for a singing job with her uncle's band.
Mm-hmm.
So they were gigging up practice gigs to get the songs and the show together and everything. And they were 6 days a week. She had 1 day off. You know what she was doing on 1 day off?
What's that?
In this little room about as big as this area here where we're sitting down on a little chair, washing all of our clothes the whole
Wow.
day
Manually,
by
like by
hand,
hand.
Wow.
and then hanging them up. And I was like, you know what? Let me go buy you a washing machine because this
Wow.
is your 1 day off, and you're sitting in this little room. And I was like, this girl is like, that's what she's willing to do, and smile. I got a picture. I'll show it to you when I find it later. I'm
Send us the picture.
sitting there
Send us the
smiling,
Yeah.
We'll post up
smiling.
here.
Yeah, for sure.
And and I'm like, wow, you can do this all day on your day off. And
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
all- and then because they would,
Cook, I would cook, I
yeah,
would
she would
clean
cook
the
and
house.
clean that house we were in, and
And I would sing at night.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
and then sing until like 2 in the
Yeah, but
morning.
serenade.
Wow.
And then, and we'd sleep like until what, like some early afternoon, but on your day off, you will up washing. I was like, whoa, this girl is, there's something about her if she's willing to do this.
Yeah.
You know? But I think that was like a turning point too.
But
I had already proposed.
Because she mentioned it already to me. Are you planning to bring her to the U.S.? Because mostly that's the
You
question.
know what?
Right.
Yeah.
Usually that's what these women
Here's
would
what
say.
happened.
Oh, she wants that green card.
Yeah.
So here's how that went. Initially, I was like, we're living here, you know. But during the pandemic, I was getting squirrely, man.
Yeah.
And we were
the Philippines
considering.
didn't handle it well.
Yeah, we were considering going. I was considering going, but for one thing, 2 years for her to even get an appointment was kind of crazy. So I wasn't gonna go home and wait for 2 years. But once things started opening up again, I was like,
started fading away, right?
And I told her, because she was getting kind of excited about it, about going. But I said, you know what our life is going to be like there? It's going to be like this. And I said, they're going to suck up. I said,
Yeah,
you see
you'd
how
be
we
happier
can
here.
jump in a plane
Yeah.
and go here? I said, you can't do that there.
You can't.
I said, and be prepared not to even come back to the Philippines
Yeah.
for maybe 5 years.
Things are more.
And,
feel it.
I said, we have more money here. We save more money. We can get anything we want, So, so you weren't that disappointed and then when we started watching videos, and she was like, is that what, she's watching these big fights in Walmart and all that. It's like, are you sure you want to go
And how
live in
the
this?
inflation.
Yeah. The interest rate went up.
It's
And,
crazy in the
Yeah,
US.
it went up too high, and I was like, damn, the house I could buy.
And you know what's funny? It's good that we mention that now. Inflation happened here, but not the same.
Yeah.
Nowhere near the same. Like
No.
it's night and day
No.
compared to US. Yeah.
I mean, they're running out of eggs in the States
So
right
let's,
now.
let's
It's
just
crazy.
explain this to the women who are like, yes, a lot of Filipinas really want to go, not just in the US, but to go outside of the Philippines, because it's really hard for you to earn really good money here in the Philippines. If you're just, college graduate from the province, you really gotta fight to be on top. You're really gonna be good at what you do to get that salary. That would kind of be in the middle class or in the higher class, right? So yes, a lot of Filipinos want to go abroad, and sometimes their only choice is to marry an afam to get that life, But so there is some truth on that, because again, you have yes and no's and different situations about that. But for me, I was saying, because I have a lot of friends who have married afams and went there. So, and you see their life. I don't know if it's the real life or something they portray.
They mostly portray
in their lives, like, oh, I'm this, I'm that, I have this Chanel bag, I buy ukay, girl.
Yeah.
I love thrift shopping. So for me, yes, there are opportunities like that. But if my husband thinks that the best move for us is to stay here, and I see that we have more money here, we save better when we're here. So you just gotta talk it out.
Yeah. They're actually living a lie out there. They're
It
doing
is,
it for
that's
show.
really, yeah.
They're doing it for show, because if they're not doing, you have to think about what you're doing, right? You guys are doing business. Like me and her, we vlog. We're doing things to make more money. Those same opportunities wouldn't be in the U.S. Like for instance, if we want to buy a condo right now, we got our condos for 2.9 million pesos, a little under $60,000, right? You can't get a condo. You can't for $60,000 in U.S. For cost of 3 condos. Say if that's 100,000 U.S. money, right? You have a lot more opportunity in the U.S. to buy a home right now. The inflation, even with the market right now, so even business is harder. Here, the kind of things you can do, buying condos.
Look, the business, man.
The business here is so cheap to get started.
Guys?
Oh yeah, let's get started. That's what we got to get to, the business.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about the business when we get back.
Okay. Thank you for watching this video. If you like my content, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, if you like my content, you're welcome to support my content by giving a small donation at PayPal. You can go to my Buy Me a Coffee at buymeacoffee.com/JTBF And there you can buy me a coffee, or you can book a consultation with me. I have consultations for a very small fee. Also, I have consultations for working at home. So if you're a guy that's a little younger, not quite retired yet, and you want to work from home while in the Philippines, you can go to my Buy Me a Coffee at buymeacoffee.com/JTBF. And also have a packages for working at home, so you'll see them there. You can book it there. The new feature to YouTube is thanks. Now at the bottom of this video, you'll see thanks there. You can give it thanks and make sure your comment is highlighted, and you can give a small donation that way as well. Guys, in the description, you'll see other videos of my other content that's great as well. So you can be sure to watch my other content there. Thank you for watching. See you next video.